it going, guys? Welcome. Today we're going to do a video that's going to be all about the SSR 125 Razkull forks. There's not a lot of information out there on these particular forks on the internet, not a lot of pictures of them disassembled or anything like that. So this video isn't a video for beginners. I assume you've worked on forks before and know how to take them off the bike. Alright, now that we got the fork off the motorcycle, it's a good time to do some measurements. So we're going to measure the total suspension travel, which is going to be from here right to where the dirt buildup is. And we're also going to measure this space here because this is where the bottom out is. So we're going to make a note of that. Alright, so the suspension travel was 4 inches and 11/16, and that bottom out space you saw there is about 5/8 of an inch. So now we're just cracking the top and we're going to drain and measure the fluid because I don't think anyone knows how much fluid these forks come with. So it'll be interesting to find out. Alright. And I don't think anyone knows what the weight is either. So it's going to be a bit of a guess. I'm probably going to go with 10 weight. Alright, so with both forks drained, it's right at 250, so makes sense, 125 milliliters each. Alright, so we got the fork out. I'm going to show you the basics of how to get the spring out. So undo the top, bottom will slide away. You have 14 millimeter, it's going to fit on the top of this. And I already have this loosened, but that's going to be how you remove your top cap here. Alright, now to access the spring, it's inside this rod. You can get a 8mm Allen wrench, and then you should be able to start pulling on this. This should start spinning off. Now the rod on the inside will spin, so you can push against it to hold it. Alright, there we go. So you can remove top of the tube here, and then your spring sitting right down here. Now, this is obviously, if you've ever watched any of the Grom videos, way different than a Grom. I did some measurements on the spring. It's let me pull up the numbers here. It's about 0.42 kilograms per millimeter, a little over 9 inches long. You know, it's only good for compressing maybe 4.5, maybe 5 inches. So you can add a little bit of preload to this, not a lot. I'm not sure who can make a spring for this. You might have to go to some custom spring manufacturer to get a higher rate one. But that's what you got with this. Alright, so I'm going to put them back together. I have the spring drop back in. I'm going to refill it with some fresh Bel-Ray 10-weight fork oil, and then I'm going to add a little bit of preload just to adjust my sag. I'm just going to use these washers I got from Home Depot, stack them on top of the dampening rod. Alright, so I filled it back up, just about 125 milliliters of fluid, just maybe a little bit more. And you can see I just put some spacers here on the dampening rod. Give me some preload. That's about as much as I can get away with. That's an inch with these springs, or else you have to go to stiffer springs. But we'll see how this is. Hey, so just checking back in with you guys. I did some measurements, did some fine tuning, and I'm going to remove a washer. So I only have 5 of these washers as spacers. So I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is, especially if you have one of these front stands. Now you can just drop the front, adjust preload, put it back up. So let me just show you guys what it looks like. Alright, just going to remove one washer. And there you go, you just tighten it back all the way down. Now the damper rod will spin. I've noticed it doesn't really spin easily. So what you can do is, tighten this down till you see a good amount of the thread poking up past the stop here. And then you can pull down from this hole here where I have this hex key inserted and check to see if you're at the bottom of the threads. So I'm just going to keep spinning it here until I watch it start to spin. Okay, now it's spinning. Now let me check to see if it's at the bottom of the thread. And it is. Line up all the washers. And just put your cap on nice and tight. I'd say you want this pretty snug. Good. Now we just gently lift the front end up. And bolt it all back up. I actually like the Razkull forks a lot more than the ground forks. Like I said, the dampening in them is better. There's better rebound for sure. Arguably better compression. 10 weight foil is definitely the way you want to go with the Razkull forks. I checked the rebound with it. It's just about spot on. And I weigh 200 pounds, and 5 of these washers is just about right for the sag. So I adjusted the rear shock too. I got a YSS one so I can adjust it. So I'm sagging about, hopefully after this adjustment, 1.25 inches front and rear, which is what you want for this bike if you're racing it. If you're not racing it, who cares? All right.